try and get the semifinal match going. Looks like the room is up. And here we go. We have the TANStar versus Tinfoil Hat / Pyro. He's known on MTG Salvations as Tinfoil Hat. On Cockatrice, he's known as Pyro. He is from the West Coast. He lives in California, if I remember right, and he's already won an IQ tournament this year, or this season. So he's already got his spot locked into the big dance. So yeah, at the end of the season, there's 12 months in the year, so each month we have a tournament, and the person who wins gets an invite, and then there's a couple of slots left, and we have wildcard points, and so the top players with the most wildcard points get the extra invite, so we can have a 16-person tournament at the end of the season. This usually consists of all the people who played and the best players, basically, that have consistently done the best and that have won these tournaments end up playing there. So both Pyro's already there, and the other gentleman who's in here, Bad B, I mentioned him earlier on the stream. He's also, and those are the only two that have wins so far. Bad B's won 2, Pyro has won 1. This is the 4th IQ tournament of the season, and the semifinal match is underway. Looks like Pyro wins the roll. He will go first. Pyro is going to keep his opening hand, the TANStar. He will also keep. And Pyro starts off by fetching with a Scalding Tarn. He gets a Steam Vents and uses it to play an Aether Vial. That is his first turn. Now it's the TANStar's first turn. He's going to start off with a Reading Pool tapped and say go. Pyro, second turn, he plays a Coiling Oracle, reveals a Scalding Tarn off the top of his library, and puts that into play. He also played a Flooded Grove to get that second mana, so he could filter it for the Coiling Oracle. The TANStar plays a Hallowed Fountain, passes the turn, and Pyro fetches for a Stomping Ground. Pyro bumps his Aether Vial up to 2 counters. Aether Vial is an artifact that costs 1. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a charge counter on it, and then you can tap the Vial to put a creature with converted mana costs from your hand into play. The thing I really like about that is that you get to tap the Vial, and they have to respond before they get to see what you're putting into play. So depending on how they respond, or if they don't respond, you could play, whatever fits the situation. So that is one thing I really like about that card. Looks like the Pyro just played another Flooded Grove. Pass a turn. We're looking at the TANStar's third turn here. It's his first, or it's his pre-combat main phase. And he decides to play a land tapped and say go. Breeding Pool, to be exact. And it's Pyro's combat phase. He swings the Coiling Oracle for 1, plays a Breeding Pool, and then passes. TANStar's turn. It's his 4th turn. He plays a Forest and passes. And it looks like Pyro's thinking about something. Oh, no, he just got disconnected. Hopefully he's back soon. TheTanStar makes a joke using the standstill token since he got disconnected. The game is on standstill. So again, this is the semifinals of the January Lantern IQ. This is the second season that we've been doing this for. The TanStar is playing against Pyro for a chance to go to the finals. Right now, we are waiting on Pyro, who is having a bit of a connection issue. Hopefully, he is back on shortly. Say something about that. Oh, he did say he was encoding a massive file. Watch, he just crashed his computer. Let's hope it doesn't take him that long to get back here. Let's see. Yeah, so right now we're at this match right here. And yeah, the winner's going to play LEH in the finals. And yeah, no word from him on there, so he isn't posted on the forum. Ah, there he is. Alright, let's get this going on. So end of turn, Pyro will activate the Aether Vial, putting an Eternal Witness into play, and he returned the Scalding Tarn to his hand. Now it's his pre-combat main phase. Now it's combat phase, going in with the Eternal Witness and Calling Oracle. TheTanStar takes 3 damage. Pyro plays an island and says go. Seems like he's pretty comfortable right now. And if you got pressure on the board and an Aether Vial, you know, you don't really need to play anything on your turn. TheTanStar goes for a Quasali Pride Mage. And Pyro answers with a Familiar's Ruse. That's a 2-mana instant. Counter target spell, but you have to return a creature you control to your hand. You return the Eternal Witness, which he can use the Aether Vial to replay and still attack with next turn. TheTanStar is going to pay 3 life, popping his Misty Rainforest off. Probably going to go get himself a Hallowed Fountain is what he decides to grab. And he's going to tap 3 to try and force a Geist of Saint Traft. The Pyro is ready with the Cryptic Command, and he counter and draws. And then at end of turn, he'll put Eternal Witness into play and return that Cryptic Command to his hand. So he's basically got a lock on the TheTanStar at this point. This is known as the Eternal Command lock with Eternal Witness, Aether Vial, and Cryptic Command. Basically every turn he can play Cryptic Command, counter whatever the TheTanStar plays, bounce up Eternal Witness, and then he can flash it in with Aether Vial again. So the TheTanStar needs a way to deal with that. TheTanStar is thinking about his play. He passes the turn. Pyro pops off a Scalding Tarn. And then grabs the Steam Vents. And now it's Pyro's turn. Going to combat step, Eternal Witness and Calling Oracle coming in for another 3 damage. And then he will pass the turn again. So, yeah. At this point, it feels like he's pretty much in control of the game. He doesn't need to play anything. The TheTanStar's on a 2-turn clock. We know Pyro has a Cryptic Command in his hand. Which, even if the TheTanStar can somehow get something out, he still has to deal with those creatures coming back, and I just don't think it looks very good right now for him. And the TheTanStar taps to play Knight of the Reliquary. Pyro answers with a Cryptic Command to counter and draw the Knight, or counter the Knight and draw a card. The TheTanStar is thinking, and he lets it go. TanStar still has 3 mana, though. And then he passes the turn. And Pyro taps Aether Vial in response, plays another Eternal Witness off of that, and he will return that Cryptic Command back. Now we're on Pyro's pre-combat main phase. And he swings in for 5 with the team. Let's see if TanStar has any responses. And he concedes the game. Looks like they're going to game 2. Both of them have unlocked their sideboard. And we're going into the second game of the semifinal match between Pyro and the TanStar. The winner will play LEH in the finals, which hopefully will be coming up here in a little bit. Pyro signaled he is ready to start the game. Looks like we will not get the finals tonight, unfortunately. LEH says he needs to get some sleep, which I can relate. I understand that. Alright, and game 2 is underway between the TanStar and Pyro. Looks like the TanStar will be on the play. Pyro will keep his opening hand. And it looks like the TanStar will as well. He starts off with the Misty Rainforest, going down to 17. He grabs the Breeding Pool. He decides the Breeding Pool was not the right card to grab and decides the Temple Garden instead for the Bird of Paradise. Pyro plays a Scalding Tarn, fetching for a Serum Visions, and bolts that Mana Bird right away. Doesn't want the TanStar to get an activation on it. It's the TanStar's second turn, pre-combat main phase. He drops a Misty Rainforest. And passes the turn. It is now Pyro's second turn, pre-combat main phase. He plays a Misty Rainforest and pops it off for 3 damage. And he goes to get a Breeding Pool and play the Culling Oracle. He reveals an island off the top and puts it into play. The TanStar fetches with his Misty. gets a breeding pool. This now is third turn, pre-combat main phase. He taps 2 for a Scavenging Ooze. That seems pretty good against Pyro's deck. He passes the turn. He does not play a land though, so he does miss his 3rd land drop. Looks like Pyro's having some connection issues again. Looks like he just disconnected. Let's see here. Figure we had a little bit of time there before he gets back on. I'll keep an eye out for a little bouncing cockatrice symbol in the corner. But yeah. Excited to bring you guys the semifinal match. So yeah, this is the thread right here. If you guys look, it says Lantern IQ, Season 2 thread, and then it'll have in parentheses something to do with like the current status of whatever tournament's going on. And there's always a picture of whoever won the last time. This time it's Tinfoil Hat. He won with a Johnny Vengeant. So they used his artwork for the image for this month. Here's all the stuff about the rules, goals, and Lantern's notes. Here's the rules. Lantern is also one of the moderators for this forum, or for the subforum of the modern art, or the modern whatever the heck that's called, for the modern format. So this is all the information about what you need to do to get ready to play. This is what to do when the pairings go up. And then there's some official judges. I'm not sure how many of these people are still around all that often, but most of us are pretty good, so we know what we're doing. There's a whole section here about different issues that happen when triggers are missed for different things, how we handle those. Specifically, Dark Confidant triggers might be something you'd be interested in reading up on if you plan on playing Dark Confidant. And then there's a bunch of other stuff that's going on about, like, this is basically like Q&A, like how do I get to play, how do I get my deck ID, how do I get registered, all that stuff. And then down here is everything you need to connect to Cockatrice, including a link to their site where you can register. And then usually the second post here will have all the information of the current IQ event. Right now we're on Season 2 IQ number 4. Here's all the people that have registered to play this month. You can see yours truly at the top of that list. Unfortunately, I didn't make it very far. I only got to win 1 match before I got bugged out by LEH, who's now in the finals. So I don't feel too bad about losing to him, although I was playing kind of sloppy. So I kind of wish I'd done better, but so there's the bracket for this month. We're almost completed with it, and it looks like Pyro is back, indeed. Let's get back to this game that's underway. So we're looking at Pyro's turn. I don't think he wanted to swing with that Calling Oracle into a Scavenging Ooze. And he plays an Eternal Witness to get back his Lightning Bolt, which he will use to kill a Scavenger Muse. Seems like a good play. I definitely didn't see that coming, but yeah. Well, it looks like the TanStar has a response to Witness. So he's targeting, so he wants to respond to him targeting the bolt with Surgical Extraction. Surgical Extraction is a Phyrexian card. You can play it for a black or for 2 life. It's an instant. It's basically like an extirpate where you remove a card from a graveyard and you get to remove all cards from their library and from their hand that have the same name. Plus you get to look at their hand, which is nice. And you get to play it for free. I mean, you pay 2 life for it, but you don't need mana for this one. Extirpate's a little bit different. You can't pay 2 life for it, but it's got split second, which means people can't respond to it with activations. The only thing I think you can do to a split second card is morph a creature. This morph does not use this attack, it's some other thing. So we get to look here at Pyro's hand. And everything looks good. So there goes the lightning bolts, and it looks like Pyro's going to pass the turn since he didn't get to lightning bolt the Scavenger Muse. TanStar will play a Breeding Pool untapped, and he's going to drop a Geist of St. Traft. It's now Pyro's turn. I believe this is his 4th turn. He got a land off of the off the Culling Oracle on turn 2. So I believe this is his 4th turn. And now the TanStar got disconnected. Oh, he's back right away. Good. That didn't last very long. Now Pyro's thinking about what to do during his main phase. So it is now the TanStar's turn. He is, looks like he's thinking about what he wants to do for this play. Looks like he's got a Bird of Paradise he can eat with the Scavenger Muse if he wanted to. That is about it. There's nothing really in Pyro's grave that's worth using an ooze on right now. I think the TanStar is wondering what he should do. I've got a little bit of experience playing against Pyro's deck, so I know probably what the right play should be. Looks like he decides to pass his turn, and Pyro will end of turn Vendilion Click. Mendelian Click is a 3/1 fairy with flash. It costs 2 blue and colorless to play. And enters the battlefield, you get to look at target player's hand. Then you can choose a non-land card from it. That player reveals it and then puts it on the bottom of their library. And then they draw a card. So it's really good against combo decks because you get a look at their hand, sort of see how close they are to their combo. If they've got a combo piece, you can pick it out. You could also use it to get rid of removal or, a couple other things if you wanted to. So the TheTanStar answers that with a mana leak. I guess he didn't want to see that hit the table. Mana leak, of course, being a blue instant. 1 blue, 1 colorless. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 3. Pyro on this turn will play a Kitchen Finks. That is a 3/2 for 3. It's hybrid white-green, 2 hybrid, and a colorless. It is a 3/2 with Persist, and when it enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life. So essentially, it's 2 creatures with 4 life for 3 mana. So it's generally pretty good. There's only a few ways to really answer it. You can exile it. You can bounce it. You can put it on the bottom of their library. But if it dies pretty much any other way, you get another dude and 2 more life. So there are ways to deal with it. You can counter it, but yeah, generally you get 2 creatures out of that card, and it's efficient just for 1 creature anyway. Like if it was just a 3/2 for 3 that gained you 2 life, like that wouldn't be terrible anyway. But it's a 3/2 that becomes a 2/1, and you gain 4 life for 3 mana, and that's why it's such a good card. Unfortunately, it doesn't play well with Scavenging Ooze. Scavenging Ooze can, when it hits the graveyard, it persists, which you return to the battlefield with a -1/-1 counter. But the Scavenging Ooze can respond to that trigger by eating up the Kitchen Finks. So it's a good card to play against Kitchen Finks quite a bit. I enjoy it. And yeah, it's decent. The TheTanStar could have eaten up his Bird of Paradise from his graveyard that turn. I'm not sure if he noticed it was in there or if he had something else in mind. And the TheTanStar will pass the turn again. Pyro will fetch with his Misty Rainforest. Pyro, end of turn, plays Cryptic Command to tap out the TheTanStar and to draw. And now it is his main phase. Had to do a little bit of clarification on the life total there. The life total on board checks out. There was a little confusion over how much life was paid when he fetched at the end of the last turn. Oh, I think I realized why the THANSTAR didn't eat up that Bird of Paradise. Maybe he was trying to play around Lightning Bolt. But he could have just activated the green twice. Like, he could have spent one to do it and then spend another one to respond to Bolt and eat the bird again. I mean, the first ability would fizzle, but he'd still get the counter, and he would lose to Bolt. He might have been trying to play around that. I'm not sure. And it looks like Pyro went in for a swing with the team. Got 6 damage in there. Maybe he's got some more tricks going on too. He definitely didn't use any of his mana this turn, so he's probably sitting pretty good. We're now looking at the TANSTAR's main phase. Unfortunately, it looked like he's still having trouble hitting his land drops. He's been sent 3 lands for quite a few turns now. He's got to think carefully about this play, too. He's already down a game. Oh, he does have another land. Jury Step. He's going to give his Scavengers protection from blue. All right. He does have to think hard about this. Like, this game could be over in the next 2 turns. He can't kill Pyro now, but he has the potential to put him in lethal this turn. And he's going to combat. So let's see his stuff. And before defenders are declared, Pyro will flash in a Vendilion Click. That's the second one he's seen today. Looks like they're thinking on. Looks like it's on TANSTAR's priority to respond to the Vendilion Click being cast. The TANSTAR says click resolve. And now he enters the battlefield. Got their enter the battlefield trigger happening. The TANSTAR is still considering the trigger. There is an angel coming at him after all. So we'll see what he decides to do. He's got 3 mana open. I've seen a couple spells in his deck that he could answer with. There was that blue spell that did 4 damage to a creature, but then you do 2 to himself. I mean, you could be thinking about that. Does he want to take the damage? Or he could have a Path to Exile. I'm not sure what else I saw in there, but he's got 2 cards that he could potentially play here. And he responds with a Path to Exile. He's going to path the Vendilion Click. That will allow Pyro to search his library for a basic land and put in play tapped. He will also take 6 damage. And I'm not sure what happened to my cockatrice there, but it seemed to have crashed on me. I'm going to get that back up as soon as I can. Alright, looks like the only thing that happened since then was the Kitchen Finks was played. Pyro gained 2 more life. And it looks like he's passing the turn. You know, before I was saying something about Scavenging Ooze trying to play around Lightning Bolt, I totally forgot that he had already exiled all the Lightning Bolts out of Pyro's deck, so yeah, I'm not sure why he wasn't playing with that before, but it looks like he exiled it this time. What else does he got over here? Yeah, looks like Ooze is about as big as it's going to get for now. It is. It's the TanStar's go. Again, it's a pretty tight game right now. Like, it could go either way. The TanStar could have him in lethal in a turn or 2. Pyro could have the TanStar lethal in a turn or 2. He's actually got lethal showing on the board right now, but he's got to get through tricks and a couple of creatures here before that'll happen. So it could go either way. We're at a very pivotal point in the game here, and I'm excited to see how it goes down. Looks like the TanStar is thinking good and hard about this one. Can't say I blame him. I'm going to take this moment again to promote the Lantern IQ tournaments on mtgsalvation.com. Again, it's a free monthly tournament. We play this every month, usually about 40 to 50 players, and it's usually a pretty good time. You'll see some interesting brews, like what Pyro is running here. This is definitely not something you would typically run into at a big tournament, but it's playing pretty well for him, so you can't knock it if you're getting some results. Also, the TanStar is playing something a little bit different too. You don't see too many Bant decks running around these days, but he seems to be making it work, so hey, like I said, you can't argue with results. Alright, looks like the TanStar is going to combat. And Pyro responds with tap and draw via cryptic command. So it looks like the TanStar is not going to get to swing this turn, but he needs to get a blocker down, otherwise he's dead on the board. So he needs to do something here. Pyro's tapped out, so you can't answer him, so as long as he gets a blocker or some removal or something going, I think he'll be alright. And he goes for a Loxodon Smiter. Seems pretty good here. If Pyro can't answer that guy, it will buy him another turn. Pyro comes in with the team. Looks like Smiter is going to probably do some blocking here. He's probably going to block a Finks. And we'll probably see that Finks getting eaten up by a Scavenging Ooze. That's my guess. But the TANStar is going to take 6. I'll just put him to 2, but then he'll gain 1, so he'll be at 3. And Pyro won't have any blockers. Well, I guess he still has a main phase that he could play something. Yep, just like that. Scavenging Ooze eats up another creature, gaining a life, getting a little bigger, and another counter. Second main phase. TANStar is going to see his board get wiped away with a Fire Spout. Scavenging Ooze is the only thing that will survive. Kitchen Finks will persist, giving Pyro 2 more life. Alright, now it's the TANStar's turn. He's got a 5/5 Scavenging Ooze. And you can kill Pyro in 2 turns with it. Can't leave himself open for that long, though. I mean, he could take a hit from Finks and still survive another turn. Pyro could just chump block also. TANStar's also got a few options. Looks like the Geist of St. Trap got exiled accidentally. Yeah, it looks like Pyro brought that up because he wanted to do something about it. How many creatures do they have to eat here? There's seems like there's quite a few at this point. We got a Smiter, a Geist, and then Coaling Oracle and Eternal Witness. So he could eat 3 of them up right now before the Scavenging Ooze resolves. That will give him 3 life, so he'll be up to 6. And Scavenging Ooze will be an 8/8. And yeah, that's pretty solid. It would also only give Pyro 1 creature left to eat with Scavenging Ooze. So he would only gain 1 life, and his Ooze would only be a 3/3. But yeah, right now I think the TANStar's best move is just to eat both of the creatures in Pyro's graveyard, and then eat one of the ones in his before Pyro gets a chance to gain any life off of that. Looks like he just decided to eat the 1 and then play Vendilion Click at end of turn. And Pyro taps. And it looks like he is exiling the other 3 creatures. So he's going to gain 3 life, and Scavenging Ooze is going to be a 5/5. And then he shows his hand. That seems interesting. I didn't see a lot of artifacts in the TheTanStar's deck before, so I'm not really sure why he brought that in. I'm not really sure what the TheTanStar's thinking about there. There's only really one option. I mean, the Vandal Blast doesn't do anything against him. At least not when his current board is, but the Fire Spout's going to kill his Vendilion Click if he doesn't do something about that, so... maybe he plans on winning in this turn. Well, I mean, he should swing with Click, because he's just going to lose it next turn to Fire Spout anyway, so it makes sense to at least swing with him. And he could swing with Scavenging Ooze too, and I mean, I guess he doesn't have to block. He could probably take that damage and be alright, but... and this is where I think he should have swung last turn, though, too. And if he swung last turn, then he'd only have one guy left to block with. Or he would have taken 6 more damage or 5 more damage. Looks like the TheTanStar is unsure of which course of play is correct right now. He knows there's nothing he can cast right now. Both the cards in his hand are sorcery, and he just looked at them, so he knows what he's got. You can't block his flyer. He'd have to double block with Finks and Ooze if he wanted to kill the TheTanStar's Ooze. he surgically extracts Fire Spout. I guess he figured get one of them out of his hand. Looks like I missed them activating the ooze. Alright, now we're on the list of TheTanStar's turn. TheTanStar's in a tight spot with 2 life. He can't really swing without making himself vulnerable right now. And there's a Vendilion Click. Yeah, that's the only thing that's been added. So he could try and fight for that, but Pyro's got more green sources than the TheTanStar does. So he's going to end up winning that. And then Pyro plays Vendilion Click at end of turn. And if the TheTanStar can't answer that, he's going to die to it because he's only at 2 life. Yep, he says good game. And that's it for the semifinals. Looks like Pyro's going to the finals again.